Wojton uploading a video, let alone Pokemon battle? Yep, your eyes don't deceive you. 8 months later, I am back with Pokemon OR&AS a new battle against Raymond. In other words, a battle where I'm actually trying to win. I've used this team once in the past, but I don't really expect anyone to remember that, so quick recap. Assault Vest, Charge Beam Wigglytuff, specially defensive Dusclops. Yeah, it's been so long since I've last used this team that it has evolved. Choice Scarf Vivillon, physically defensive Toxic Spike Skorupi, defensive Rapid Spin support Kabutops, and a physical Life Orb Electivire. Raymond has brought what looks like a half Sand team with what I'm assuming is a Assault Vest Sandforce Gigalith and a Bandit Stoutland, because that's what I'm running on my own UU Sand team, which I based off Raymond's idea. Other than that, I'm expecting standard Tentacool, offensive, likely Specs Glaceon, and whatever that Jumpluff is running, it's going to be annoying. That's my team overview, now let's get into the battle. I lead off with Wigglytuff, expecting it to hopefully prevent him from setting up Zrogs with the Hippo, and his immediate switch to Gigalith pretty much confirms that he is running Assault Vest, and that is actually a major problem for my team, so my priority is to weaken him down early, even if that means losing my Wigglytuff in exchange, and that's exactly what happens. Then I go to Kabutops, but knowing that Sandforce Gigalith is strong, I decide to go for a safe waterfall in case he decides to stay in. He goes to Jumpluff though, and still takes a decent chunk on the switch, and now I decide to sleep fodder my Dusclops, because looking at his team, it doesn't really do much other than walling Glaceon, which can be handled by Kabutops as well, as long as he doesn't go for a freeze dry. Then I go right back to Kabutops to scout if he isn't that stupid subseeding set, but he sets up a Swords Dance, so abort. I repeat, abort. We gotta go to Skorupi, we gotta get this thing out of there. Skorupi once again proves itself worthy of a physical wall, takes +2 acrobatics very nicely and whirlwinds him out. Then I switch to Sleeping Dusclops just to take a hit as he goes for HP Rock I think. Not sure why, as Ice Beam would have done more damage anyway, but I am okay with that. He then switches to Hippopotas and sets up his Stealth Rock on my switch to Kabutops, only to have them spun out as he brings his Tentacool. I decide to go right back to Dusclops to bait his switch to either Gigalith or Stoutland, and then go right back to Kabutops, which takes both of them, but annoyingly, he decides to stay in and sets up some Toxic Spikes in my face. So now we're in this awkward matchup where we are both sitting here with our supporters, he is banking on a Scald Burn, I'm banking on Burn not happening and Stone Edge not missing twice in a row, so the chances seem to be pretty even, meaning that, obviously, I'm going to lose that gamble and get burned on the first try. That in turn means that Kabutops no longer threatens Gigalith, and now I have to rely on Electivire to handle it. But in order to do that, I will definitely need prior Stealth Rock damage, so I try to set them up right in his face, hoping that he will just spam Scolds, but Raymond is smarter than that, read my thoughts like a book and goes for a Rapid Spin. Then he randomly goes for Toxic Spikes though, probably expecting me just to take him out at this point, and because of that, my rocks are here to stay. He then goes back to Jumpluff and sets up a Swords Dance as I switch back to Skorupi to take a Seed Bomb. You might think that I should have just stayed in and go for a Stone Edge, which is a guaranteed KO even after Citrus Berry, but I don't want to risk losing Kabutops as I still needed to wear down his Hippo and take a hit from Stoutland if necessary. So instead, I Death Fodder Skorupi and go to my Scarfed Vivillon, which catches yet another opponent off guard and gets rid of his Jumpluff. Back comes Hippo, and this is exactly why we're keeping Kabutops alive. He doesn't really have a good switch into this thing anymore. I mean, he could go to Stoutland, but he will still take a decent chunk from Waterfall, and then, assuming that he is Bandit, he will be in an awkward position as I still have 2 perfect switches to Superpower. So instead, he decides to stay in, and at this point, inflicting damage on this thing is more important for me than spinning away the rocks. I get a crit with Waterfall, but really, all it changes is I don't need to follow it up with another one, which I would have done otherwise. Instead, knowing that he is now in Electivire's Ice Punch range, I can attempt to Rapid Spin, which succeeds as he goes for a Whirlwind, knowing that I will die on the next switch in. My Electivire gets dragged out and I decide to go for a safe Ice Punch, but he predicts that nicely and brings his Glaceon. Now, I still don't know what item is he holding, as I didn't pay attention to hidden power damage output earlier on, so I go to Dusclops once again, and the fact that Ice Beam straight out kills me rules out the possibility of him running Choice Scarf, so I then go back to Electivire and get an easy revenge kill with an Earthquake. He now brings his Stoutland, and my only option is to stall out the remaining turns of Sand, so I Death Fodder Kabutops and then go to Vivillon. Now, the fact that Sand is still going for one more turn is crucial, as it doesn't let Raymond bring his Hippopotas, as Sandstream would not have activated and the Sandstorm would end at the end of the turn. So instead, he decides to stay in and go for Giga Impact. Let's not question the viability of Giga Impact in the competitive metagame. He decided to run it over Return, that's his choice. Still, in my opinion, what he should have done right here is switch to Gigalith. Whether it would or would not get killed by Vivillon's Back Bass followed up by Energy Ball is irrelevant. He could then simply switch to Hippopotas, set up the Sand once more and win the game with Stoutland's Retaliate plus Giga Impact. But instead, he decided to leave it up to Gigalith, locks himself in on the following turn, allowing me to kill his Stoutland with Wild Charge, then Hippopotas with an Ice Punch, and then, thanks to that crucial 12% from Stealth Rock, his Gigalith goes down to a Life Orb Earthquake, giving me a narrow 1-0 victory. Good game, Raymond. You've played well throughout most of the game, but your single choke at the end was enough for me to win it. As usual, you gave me a run for my money and provided good enough content for me to upload after 8 months of absence. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and hopefully I will be seeing you again sometime. Peace.